This is a tutorial on how to install FastOpp on Leapcell. FastOpp is a FastAPI stack. Leapcell is a service which you can use for free. They obviously have paid services. So we're going to use their engine, their PostgreSQL database with async communication using Cycle PG3. We're going to use their object storage, which is a form of S3. First step is you'll need to get this repository from, it's currently on this account OpKey, into your own personal GitHub repository. There's a button here. If you click on the down arrow, you can clone it down with HTTPS, SSH, or the GitHub command line tool. You can also press this zip button. So you could download it to your local computer and then re-upload it to a new repo. So for this tutorial, we're going to press the fork button. There's another button right here. It says fork your own copy of OpKey FastOpp. I'm going to press the fork button and then we can call this whatever name we want to. So I will call mine FastOpp Leapcell tutorial. Okay, I did change the description here. It's optional. I'm going to press create fork. So now the account here is my personal account. It's not the project account. I've already created an account on Leapcell. On this left-hand column here in this workspace, I'm going to click on Create Service right here. There's various templates, but I actually want to use the repository I just created, which is FastOpp Leapcell tutorial, which was updated a minute ago. I've already enabled GitHub to use the Leapcell services. So you have to go through an authentication step if you haven't gone that far yet. Okay, so because I've already used Leapcell before, I immediately get to this page and you can call the service anything. It just has to be unique. There's very little service deployment options. I'm in the United States in Silicon Valley, so I'm going to pick the US region. I'm using FastAPI. This project actually is using Python 3.12, although this doesn't matter that much. There's a run here from Docker, but I don't think I need it. And not sure if it makes any impact or not, but I don't think I need this, just to make it a little easier. It's main:app right there. Main:app. And this project does have the requirements.txt in it. We just started to put this into FastOpp to make it easier to deploy to Leapcell. If you don't have it in because you have an older version, you need to export it from UV. And there's a bunch of environmental variables which we'll have to configure. We will need to configure these environmental variables. I'm going to press submit to see whether we can get something running even without the environmental variables. So I'm going to press submit. Okay, the logs are starting. And there's an error on the OS because it's trying to store locally. So we will have to create a few environmental variables. I'm going to go on this README for the FastOpp. Well, one of the things we're going to need is this upload directory. So let's go to the environmental variables. I'm going to press add, and then we're going to go upload directory, and it's going to be /tmp for Leapcell uploads. Okay, let's check the documentation. Upload _dir, all in caps. And then for Leapcell, it is /tmp /uploads, which is not here, but I'll create a separate doc for Leapcell after this. Okay, I'm going to save it, and then let's go save and deploy. You can see that it started the deployment again. Application startup was completed, and it is doing these health checks. Okay. The problem was that it can't write to the root directory of Leapcell. Let's see whether our test site is up. So it's under this domains. They have a long one. Okay. So we've got something working here. We won't be able to log in. We can't use the database because we don't have the database yet. And we also have not configured the AI demo yet. So we'll have to configure these with Leapcell. Let's first go to the database, which will also help us to enable the login. So let's create a new database. I'm calling mine FastOpp tutorial with the default configuration. There's no way to change the PostgreSQL version, and it's not needed. The region for me is fine, the default, because I'm in the United States. And this default is fine because it's free. Let's press create. This is quite a good set of resources and services, especially for free, which is kind of incredible. Okay, there's a bunch of secret information here, but I'm going to change it after this tutorial. But let's go to the Python right there. And there's under SQL Alchemy, there's this nice little string right here on line 8. Copy the whole thing, not including the quote mark, put into my clipboard, and I will go to the environmental variables. Add entry. We're going to put database _URL. I'm going to paste it. Notice that at the end there's question mark. SSL mode equals required. This is needed. Make sure yours has it at the end. We'll have to do another modification, which is somewhat subtle. So this one is using the synchronous PsychoPG Postgres 2. We're going to use version 3. Version 3 does not say 3. It just says PsychoPG here. PsychoPG. Okay, we're going to save it again. Recheck the URL. Make sure it's PostgreSQL plus PsychoPG, no number 2 here, colon, and there's a super long string, which has your secret information, which you should not share. A question mark, SSL mode equals require. Okay, you will need secrets. You could put any string in there, but in this case, I'll show you how to use this opman tool from FastOpp. Since we're using UV, it's UV run python opman.py secrets. And it's going to generate a secret key here, which I'm going to copy into my clipboard. On the Mac is Command C, and we will add it in here. So maybe I'll first paste it, and then I'll go secret key, and then we will save it. And again, for the purpose of testing, this can be any string, so you don't actually need to run the opkey tool. You could just type random characters here, and it should work. It's just what you create. Okay, I'm going to set the environment to production. Because there's no shell access on Leapcell, we can't run the init scripts to populate our demo or even create the root access user, the admin. So we're going to use a document under docs emergency access to learn how to create the access. So this emergency access enabled equals true. I'm going to copy that and put it into the environmental variables. I'll set it to true. I'm going to save it. So this is actually on Leapcell, this portion here, and all the way at the bottom, if you're at the main portion, there's the first time setup instructions. So if you manage to deploy it and you can't access the admin, which you won't be able to, there is a emergency access right here as well as a document. So it's the same document. So if you open up the document, it will show you the instructions, which are kind of long. The main one you need is to set the emergency access enabled to true. And you will need a secret key, but you can just type in random characters for that. Okay. So I'm going to redeploy it. And let's go back to the logs and monitor the redeploy. So it took maybe 20 seconds, and then the logs changed, and it did show the health check again. All right, so with this set of changes, we're now going back here, and we're going to attempt to access the emergency access. It says that it requires the secret key, which you just set. Let's grab the secret key. This one here. I'm going to grab the secret key now. I'm going to paste it in. I'm going to grant emergency access. It said success as the log message. And now there's opportunity here to create a super user. In this example, which is not a good email because it's not real, I'm going to select admin at example.com and then admin123. You want to change this. I'm going to press create super user. Okay, it says success, super user created successfully with this email. I'm going to log out. So I'm now going to put admin at example.com. It's the email I just created, admin123. I'm not going to sign in. It's just saying that the password I created was too simple. So we have access now to a dashboard that we can now initialize the full demo. However, at this point, it won't work because we don't have the storage set up for the uploaded photos. Just as a security measure, after we've created the root user, I'm going to disable emergency access. So we've got two layers, right? One is this emergency access is not going to be available now. And then also don't share your secret key with anyone. Okay, we still need to set up the object storage, but I'm going to initialize the full demo anyway as a test. So I pressed it. At the bottom it says success true. It likely failed because the object storage is not set up, but it did populate it with some test data. Okay, it's saved it to the ephemeral storage, so it won't actually show the images consistently. But let's look at what we have. So we'll press home. We'll look at the database demo, and the data has been populated with fake data. So we could use the sorting or the search as a test. It has populated with some of the images, but because that this temp uploads that we're using for the storage is not designed to read and write from it, it's not going to be consistent. We'll have to enable the object storage to get the photo upload to work consistently. So in this case, I have actually already created the object storage, but we have to still set it up to get all these variables into the environment. And also, this is also confidential information, so don't share it. After this tutorial, I'm going to reset my access keys. We're going to configure a different storage system. So in the environmental variables, we'll do storage type equals S3 to start off with. Then we need the S3 access key. So it's access key. Let's go to the storage. And it says access key right here. We're going to put it in the clipboard and we'll paste it. We'll go through our tutorial with the S3 secret key. So there's one that says secret key right here. We'll copy it into the clipboard and we'll paste it down here. Save it. And then there's the S3 bucket. And we'll grab the bucket right here. And we will paste in the bucket. Save it. We'll use the S3 endpoint URL. We'll go back to the storage, and there's an endpoint URL here. And then there's a CDN URL, the Content Delivery Network. I'll put it into the clipboard. And the CDN is right here. Copy it. And we will paste it in. We will redeploy it. I'm going to check back on the logs to make sure that the redeploy has taken place. So let's give it a moment here. So as I'm checking the timestamp here with the health check application startup, I can match it here with the clock on my MacBook, and it looks like it did restart. So I'm already logged in because I previously logged in. I'm going back to the op demo admin panel here. I'm going to clear and add fresh registrants to the webinar. Scroll down, currently processing, and it says that it added it in. Let's look at the logs. I think I needed to wait longer, so I initialized the full demo again. So I just pressed it, processing, and let's check on the webinar demo. All the pictures are here. We're going to go into management and manually change the picture. So we'll go for John Smith. He looks like this right now. I'm going to choose a different picture from fake people that I got from this person is not real. We'll upload the photo. And now his picture has been changed, so he looks like this now. We can try to change Emily Davis. I'll press it again. I'll choose a different female. We'll press upload. Photo uploaded successfully, and Emily Davis now has a different picture. We'll do one more test. We'll test Michael Chen. We'll use a different picture. I'll press upload photos. Does take 10 or 20 seconds. And David Chen, or Michael Chen at the bottom looks different. Since we did create a admin account, you can also log into SQL admin through an admin panel. So we use the same username and password. This is an open source project. It's not from us. We're just using the good people that made SQL admin. So it's whatever you set it for. And then you can access the tables, like individual products, if you wanted to edit it here for testing. So it gets you up and started pretty quickly. The URL for the image on the object store is right here under the field. You can actually access it directly. So this test is just to show you the capabilities of this deployment for Leapcell and a quick way to test it. But FastOpp itself is designed so that you can delete all the demo, you can delete the blog, and it'll use the base assets, which is much simpler. And we'll cover that in a separate video. Like, it comes configured with a bunch of demos and tables and data in the database, but that's just for testing so you can learn. If you're actually to deploy it with your own project, you would delete everything using op demo destroy, and that will clean up all the unused files. The main reason we're using Leapcell is because it's free and the set of services is good. It does require more configuration, right? Because on other systems, you might be able to write to the storage, the file system. You don't have to store in this S3-like storage system. Also, the database, the default FastOpp uses SQLite, which is run from the file system. You don't have to configure and connect to PostgreSQL. However, we haven't found a free way to do that, so this is a more robust and scalable solution anyway. It does take more configuration. But after you go through this, you can have your club site up with a fairly complex example. You can show your future employers. We did not cover Redis, which we don't have as a demo right now for the caching, but in the future we'll try to add this capability, especially since you can use it for free here and use Redis as a form of data storage for caching. Have fun and be creative. Publish your projects and let us know what you created. Thanks.